Have you ever heard of the A-Man SMP? Basically, it's a Dream SMP wannabe, created by a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers. These YouTubers have done a lot of crazy shit in the SMP throughout its quote-unquote lifespan. I'm saying quote-unquote because there have been 3 different servers so far, with a new one coming in about July. Anyway, I just came out of retirement to say that when A-Man 20 said there is no lore on the server, I believe he's a liar pants on fire, because I believe I found evidence. This evidence is so deep underground because A-Man and Shuriken don't want people to see. Let me recap on basic history. The A-Man SMP is created, and the Mexican named Worthy One blew up the server at the end. This is where it gets very interesting. The biggest reason why the first server was destroyed was because of a creature named Bannerman. Bannerman was an arson terrorist who would burn down structures and place a purple banner with a skelly. This can only mean one thing. If you look at the history of Adolf Hitler, you can see that he created a certain place for Jews and put them in the showers. This can only mean one thing. Adolf Hitler is Bannerman. Another thing important to the story is about a guy named Trey. He was the true antagonist of the Bedrock version of the A-Man SMP. A-Man says that he's human, but he is actually something far worse. You see, if you remember the stories your father told you before he left to get the milk, he first told you that you will not have bitches for the rest of your life. He also told you about the boogeyman and about how he will kidnap kids that misbehave. And you may have already guessed, but the people in this server are full of people with no bitches, no good behavior, and get coal in their stocking every Christmas. This can mean only one thing. Trey is the Minecraft version of the boogeyman. This explains why he would use cheats and punish all the players on the server. We have already figured out all sorts of things, like how the server is bad and how you get no bitches. But what about A-Man 20? How is he so perfect in this universe? What we found out will shock you. When we were looking for him in real life, we found nothing. This can only mean one thing. A-Man 20 is actually a robot programmed to be a non-toxic Fortnite player created by Shuriken himself. This explains why A-Man tries to hide the lore, because he doesn't want you to know. This leads us to another thing, about Shuriken's real identity. We found the Discord chat of the SMP and found this picture. That's right, Shuriken is actually a talking Shuriken. After this evidence, I found more lore in the Java version of the SMP. First off, there is a group of people who believe Matthew is God. This group is called Matthew Cultists. So is Matthew actually God? Well, if you look at this data I found about this guy, I found that he actually owns the server on Bedrock. So in a way, he is a demigod. And in other words, he's a moderator, which probably means that he looks like Nick Ocado Avocado. Speaking of people that never joined the A-Man SMP, Booster is on the server, but he never joined. A-Man doesn't want you to know, but I found evidence that Booster is actually a 30-year-old man who plays Minecraft all day with his Discord kittens. Just so you know, this is what his Discord kittens look like in real life. Basically, he has been trying to look for some bitches but can't find any. This is a curse made by A-Man 20 for not playing on the SMP. Speaking of Discord, I also found that Spoons is actually named Noah. I also found excruciating evidence that Noah is Hank's sexual. He is in love with Ta Hanks and has 2 kids with him. His quote-unquote brother, MTB Boy, might be having an affair with Ta Hanks. Also, MTB Boy is brain dead. This information leads me to my next theory, but first let's do a little bit of history. A-Man and Shuriken created the first Java version of the A-Man SMP. Some guys named Robot Sammy and a few others joined. Captain Tejano joined and wanted to run a campaign to see who will be president. He won the election and built walls surrounding Texas. Sometime later, some guy, otherwise known as the guy that already exists, joined. He disliked the chaos and left with that Mexican unworthy one to found Mexico. This was the beginning of Captain Tejano's villain origin story. That's right, folks, Captain Tejano is the main antagonist of the A-Man SMP for seasons 1 and 2. Speaking of villain arcs, what does the guy that already exists mean? A-Man doesn't want people to find out, but the real reason Jake from State Farm plays as a YouTuber called the guy that already exists is because the guy that already exists is multiple people. Hence his name. Anyway, Jake ended up owning Texas and taking down the towers and wall. Captain Tejano did not like that and went to war with Mexico. Basically, Captain Tejano became a terrorist and went to trial. Speaking of the trials, December Chris is not someone you'd want to be around. What was he thinking with the cookie metaphor? This shows that December Chris has no bitches. If you were to rearrange the hypotenuse of the Illuminati, You can also find that December Chris' father left to get the milk. December Chris doesn't get any bitches. He also does not have a father. This ratio between fatherless people with no bitches is an unnatural phenomenon where a crappy YouTuber streams 24/7 and takes no showers. If you look at this data of people with no bitches and no father, you get today's wordle. That word is dumb. So if you look for the definition of dumb asses with no father and no bitches, you get December Chris's YouTube channel. This information proves that December Chris should not be permitted to have a job, let alone as an attorney. But what about that no green card having, Mexican unworthy one? Well, there is evidence that Jerome is actually a Mexican plumber, electrician, farmer, engineer, and lawyer. As you can see, guys, Darwizy is a plumber. This is good evidence that Thin Banana is actually Super Mario's long-lost brother. But he is also a real lawyer, meaning Celestial should have won that case. But I'm pretty certain that Captain Tejano paid Shuriken to only give him a 2-week ban. This is a recording of that exact conversation.
Guys, I'm Shuriken and I was paid $1 million in real life by Captain Tejano to only give him a 2-week ban.
Speaking of the trials and the war, is Sammy or Jerome better at Minecraft? I'll let this recording show you who is better. After a not-so-thorough Google search, I found that some people like spam clicking and others don't. Anyway, during the war, Dark Tide decided to help Mexico in capturing Captain Tejano, but I believe during this time, he was on methamphetamine. You see, Dark Titan led Jake somewhere in the middle of the ocean, then left the game. He later texted to Jake about how Dark Titan didn't trust Mexico giving him the bounty even though Jake sent him proof that he would give it to him. Anyway, in the end, I just wanted to say I can't wait for A-Man to release Season 3 in the year 2030. Also remember, no one on this Minecraft server gets any bitches.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.